This video is from section 5.5, and I'm going to do an application problem, so a word problem, and then after that I'm just going to do a few problems that I've already done for those of you that appreciate extra examples, or even just, pausing the video and trying it on your own and then quickly checking the answer. So the first problem is an application problem, and for some of you those are the tougher ones. So it says the volume of the box shown is given by the following equation. So V is clearly for volume, and then you have this cubic function. It says find the expression for the missing dimension. Okay, so I think you're probably all familiar with volume is length times width times height. So if I took this width times this height, that'd give me a quadratic, and then that quadratic times another linear piece, since it would have to be cubic, right? So I do know that this is going to be a linear factor like this, because x times x times x would give me x cubed. So you could take this cubic and do long division and divide by this quadratic. You could also use synthetic and pick one of these factors to get down to a quadratic and then factor it to find the remaining factor, which for me, that'd be my preference, only because long division is easy to make mistakes in, and it's a long, tedious process. So I'm going to go with the easier route, but you certainly could do long division with this cubic dividing by the product of those. However, I'm going to do synthetic. Okay, so I'm going to take this cubic function up here, which is 2x cubed minus 11x squared plus 10x plus 8, and I'm going to divide by either one of these. It really doesn't matter. I'm just going to go with x minus 2. So if I set x minus 2 equal to 0, I know that I'm going to be dividing by 2. So carry down, multiply, add, and multiply, and I get a 0 remainder, which is good. Okay, so I know this is really 2x squared minus 7x minus 4. Well, now I can factor that down, and I know that I used this one. I know that one of those factors is x minus 4, so I know that this has to be 2x plus 1. So if I FOIL that out, sure enough it works, so I know that this factor is 2x plus 1. Alright, this is just review, so if you're good with this one, you can fast forward, but it says use synthetic division to divide, and I know I can use synthetic because this is linear and leading coefficient is 1. So 2x cubed plus 4x squared minus 3x minus 6, and I'm dividing by the solution for x plus 3, which is negative 3. So I carry down, multiply, add, multiply, add, and multiply, and I get negative 15. Now this is a good one because I actually have a remainder. So again, I'm going from a cubic, dividing by first degree, so I do know this is quadratic, so I would have 2x squared minus 2x plus 3. Well, then I have this remainder, and remember your remainder is always divided by your dividend. Well, I'm technically dividing by x plus 3, so it's divided by x plus 3, and that's your final answer. So that's pretty cool. You can avoid long division still, but again, it has to be division of a linear quantity. Okay, this is another review one. So it says factor the following cubic given that x plus 2 is a factor. So I know this is cubic, and I know I have one factor, which means I have two more that I need to find. So I'm going to again do synthetic, and I can because that's linear. So 3x cubed plus 8x squared plus 3x minus 2. And I'm going to divide by negative 2 because that's the solution. So carry down, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply. And of course I get a 0 remainder, which I should because that's a factor. So I went from cubic down to a quadratic. So this is 3x squared plus 2x minus 1. I'm going to write that a little bit bigger here. And I want to find the remaining factors. So factor that down, take a second and make sure that you can. And I would get that. So x plus 2 is also a factor. Don't forget to tie that in at the end. All right, last one, and it's a second example, but it says a 0 for the following cubic is x equals 2. Find the other zeros. So it's cubic. I know 1 0, so I know I'm going to have 2 more. So again, you're probably seeing a very, a strong pattern here. We're always doing synthetic. So if in doubt, do synthetic, right? And I know the solution already, so I'm going to divide by 2. So carry down, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, and I get a 0 remainder, which I should because 2 is supposed to be a 0. So again, I'm going from a cubic down to a quadratic. So this is 1x squared minus 2x minus 15, and that factors down to x minus 5, x plus 3. And if I solve those, setting each of those equal to 0, I get x equals 5 and x equals negative 3.